Hello everybody and welcome to Level 5. I'm of course your host, Level 5. In this channel we talk about movies, TV shows, comic books and video games. And today we're reviewing our very first movie. So, just quickly before we dive in, I do want to quickly say this. The last time I reviewed something was Power Rangers, an episode of Power Rangers, and at the end of that I told you guys the next review will be the Crisis of Earth X crossover for the Arrowverse. Now again, that is a TV program, but that is specifically for the TV shows. So the way that this is going to be moving forward is, at the end of a specific version of my reviews, if I tell you guys, hey, the next reviews is this, it'll be related to the thing that I'm reviewing. What I mean by that is, if it's a movie review and I tell you guys, hey, the next movie is Iron Man, for an example, then the reason why the next review may be a comic book or a video game is because they're all separate things. All four, movies, TV shows, video games, and comic books are separate reviews. I'm telling you guys what the next review is for that category, if that's making sense. Hence why we got this review here instead of the Crisis of Earth X. That's actually being worked upon now, whilst this video is being edited. So, let's dive into today's video where we're reviewing Ghostbusters, the 2016 Reboot movie.
Who you gonna call? Who you gonna call?
Our movie begins with a mansion that's been reserved for a bunch of people to explore, basically a tourist attraction site, and a tour guide explains a story where the house owner finds his servants all stabbed to death by his eldest daughter, so as punishment they locked her away in the basement. Afterwards, the tour guide realises that a candle had fallen off the table. We see something sparking under the counter as well, but we do cut that later. Turns out the tour guide pranked everyone with the candle. He puts it back only to find the locked door that has never been opened since the daughter died, apparently. It starts to shake. He hears screams and he tries to run away, but the main door handle is super hot. He ends up being thrown across the room. He throws a chair which gets thrown back at him. He then runs into the basement to find the ground cracked and leaking green stuff. He tries to escape, but then is attacked by a CGI purple mist. Cut to a really crappy title screen. Then we're introduced to one of our main characters, Erin. Erin tells this guy called Jack that she's lecturing, big time, and he blows it off. They talk to some woman who runs a fact past us that Erin is being published into the ground, stuck up virgin. She tries to kiss this Jack guy, but he doesn't acknowledge her whatsoever. Eric gives her a lecture to an empty room in preparation, and some guy comes over and tries to talk to her about her book that she wrote with some friends about paranormal activities that she wrote a while ago. So this guy, I think his name's Ed or something, he works in a mansion from the beginning of the movie and he thinks that it's haunted. He asks Erin to check it out, but of course she declines. She finds out that her book is public, which it shouldn't be. A guy walks into her office and tells her that she's gonna get tenure, and for the third time her outfit gets dissed. What is it with people bashing this woman? After he leaves, she finds that her old friend Abby is responsible, so she goes to her lab and Abby is wearing a mad science hat. I mean, literally, she looks insane. They argue about the book and the work, and the fact that Abby published the book without Erin's permission. Erin is worried that it will affect her chance of getting tenure. We then meet Holtzman, our third woman on the team, and I already think she's nuts, but I am so here for it. She's my favourite character. Turns out Holtzman is a mad engineer and crazy smart. Abby and Holtzman explain that they're building a reverse tractor beam. Holtzman explains something and pranks Erin. They end up talking and stuff. But of course, the mansion does get mentioned, and the two girls are very jazzed and get ready to go to the mansion. The girls all agree to help each other out, and Erin introduces them to Ed, and Abby takes the book down. They get to the mansion and run into a tour guide, who tells them that Ed died 15 years ago, that this Ed is Ed Jr. The tour guide gives the girls the key, and of course they go into the mansion. Abby uses some machine to scan for ghosts, and once again, Erin's clothes get dissed. Oh my god, woman, get some new clothes or get better people to hang out with. Erin then ends up stepping into some weird, gross, sticky stuff, and the basement door opens so slowly. They obviously think it's another prank, but Abby's machine starts going absolutely bonkers. The basement starts glowing, and they see a CGI woman. I mean, ghost. Of course, it's a ghost. The ghost throws up slime all over Erin and then bolts away. They try to follow it, but to no avail. The girls cheer over the fact that their book was correct after all, and Erin then gets told off due to the fact that Erin screaming about believing in ghosts gets put on the internet and she gets fired. Everyone ignores her though. She goes and yells at Abby and Holtzman. They talk about their encounter with the CGI woman, I mean ghost, and Abby shows her that other people are encountering ghosts as well, and she makes a statement and uses the phrase, "Who she gonna call?" Then a lame TV show pops up called Ghost Jumpers in the same style of the old Ghostbusters and has a theme song, which by the way is really fucking lame. Abby says they make it hard to do their job. Abby asks Erin to join them. They speak about a guy upstairs. No, not God. They ask for more money. He says no and tells them to suck it, literally. They get kicked out and Erin agrees to join Abby and Holtzman, and they all turn out that they're big time thieves. Then, 27 minutes in, yes, we're now 27 minutes in, and we finally meet our fourth member. She works in a train station service place. She talks to some wackadoodle, who then watches the camera footage. She thinks he might jump off to the tracks. He doesn't. Kinda. She then goes to explore it, and she gets to the tracks and finds a blue device similar to the one that was under the desk at the beginning of the movie. She sees a ghost all in while the wackadoodle is watching. The CGI guy looks like an electric chair victim. I mean, the ghost does. Yeah, it's definitely a ghost. And our new woman runs away. We cut back to the wackadoodle. Turns out he's called Rowan, and he works in a hotel as a cleaner. He tells himself that it's time for him to be the bully and step up. He makes a note that he has done 2 of his targets and there is more. We see a quick shot of the devices, these ones not fully built, and we get to see some ghosts trying to break free from mirrors that are all over the walls. We cut back to Erin, Abby and Holtzman, and we finally get our Firebase house of operation, but they can't afford it. They move into an apartment above a takeaway place. Yeah, the Fireplace house is literally just thrown in there just for shits and giggles. Holtzman dances with welding torches. I mean, I'm sorry, she's fantastic. That's just great. Then Thor walks in and asks for a reception job. He's hired, and Thor in this movie is called Kevin. Erin hits on him constantly. It's one of the fucking movie cliches. They interview him. It turns out that he's a big-ass dumbass. Literally, he's dumb as fuck, who has glasses without glass in them, and then there's a whole bit about his dog being called Mike Hat, which is stupid. I mean, it's funny, but it's stupid. Turns out Kevin's the only person who applied for the job, making it so he gets a job. Then we meet the train station lady, and she comes in talking about her CGI man encounter. I mean, the fact that she ran into a ghost. We cut to the train station. All 4 of the girls are now looking for evidence. Oh yeah, I forgot to note this new, 4th member's called Patty, and then we see a spray painter draw the Ghostbusters logo on the wall, giving Holtzman the idea. The 4 women go back to the place Patty got spooked, and they do see the CGI figure. Ghost. Erin uses the test laser on the ghost, and after a few attempts, they do manage to hold the ghost for a few minutes, until almost getting hit by the train disrupts them. Patty wants to join them, offering them a car to use. We join Rowan once again, and one of the guests in the hotel is complaining about green slime dripping down the walls. It's kind of cool looking. Rowan blows her off with some bullcrap. After seeing the woman's rash is hosting a ghost itself. He returns to his base of operation and talks to the ghost in the mirrors, telling them to be patient. Turning back to the girls, Holtzman spews some random science mumbo-jumbo, saying the laser device is upgraded and they should test it out. Rowan goes to a rather crowded theatre. We have some backstory given here. Whilst the 4 women eat food together, we learn that Abby and Erin met and how they got into ghosts. Erin saw her ghost of her dead neighbour when she was a kid. Obviously, Abby being the only one who believed her, they bonded over a cheesy child performance routine. They turn to the news, and the reporter talks about the video of the ghost at the train station, calling it fate, also dubbing them Ghostbusters. Then the reporters talk to a scientist who claims it's also fake. The scientist is called Dr. Martin Heiss, who is played by Bill Murray. They get a call about a ghost at the theatre that Rowan was at a few moments ago. The girls then set out. Holtzman splashes the car with some paint and they use the actual Ghostbusters logo. They suit up in their suits and they have their tech and they storm into the theatre. They're led into a back room where the girls split up to find the ghost. Abby finds another one of Rowan's devices and a mannequin starts chasing Patty that she leads into the girls. They pull out their guns and they blast it, revealing a great winged CGI ghost. Yes. So they fight the ghost and they manage to capture it in the device like a fucking Pokemon. Rowan sees the Ghostbusters talking to the news reporters and he threatens them to himself. The girls party and celebrate over their victory, and Holtzman does more mad genius shit, and Martin Heist turns up to the apartment. He questions them on capturing the fake ghosts, as he calls it. He belittles them, and Abby is fear of releasing the ghost, but they do actually open the box, which throws Martin out of a 2-story building. The police question the woman, the 2 men in black suits, no, not them men in black, grab the women and bring them to the mayor. They speak to him, and basically he tells them to knock it off, I guess. It's kind of dumb. They are, however, allowed to continue their work on ghosts, just not allowed to catch them. I don't know, it's kind of confusing. Anyway, the girls go to an alleyway, and Holtzman has some cool new toys for them to try out. A little grenade thing, it's kind of cool, a glove, which is kind of dope as well. The mayor's assistant appears on the news debunking the Ghostbusters. Abby says screw them, and they're not gonna listen to them anymore. So Abby explains ley lines, a supernatural energy network, so to speak, and they figure out that what Rowan is up to. They figure out that the hotel Rowan works out is the Middle, and it turns out that it has some fucked up history. Patty recognizes Rowan from the train station, being the guy who was gonna jump and all that stuff. It's him. They gear up and head out. Turns out Rowan read Abby and Erin's book. Yeah. He commits suicide, which is kind of dumb. Once they go into the basement, they do find Rowan and the machines and the mirrors and all that stuff. He grabs a wire and commits suicide, and that's where, when they turn off the machine, they find his book. And it turns out that the book that Abby and Erin wrote was his inspiration. The girls get arrested by Homeland Security. At Rowan's machine, however, the ghost tracker activates. Erin assaults a blogger who started pushing her buttons, and a picture of her gets put into the paper. So let's jump back to the apartment. Abby, basically gets told that everything's a bit harsh, and Erin leaves. She reads the copy of the book that Rowan had. Turns out that he scribbled a lot of his plans in the book. One picture shows him destroying the city. Abby gets freaked out at the apartment, though. She hides in the bathroom once the door keeps on knocking, and Abby is shot in the face by a green bolt from the sink. She can hear Rowan's voice and starts vomiting up green slime. Holtzman and Patty check on Abby. Abby seems perfectly normal, but she's talking rather odd. Some things make no sense, and Abby walked out of the bathroom, grabs a pipe, and starts beating the crap out of all the tech, breaking it. Turns out Abby's now freakishly strong, also dropping the girls out the window. Abby tries to kill the girls. Patty literally bitch-smacked the ghost out of Abby, which, can I just say, was fantastic. But this is when things get turned up to 11. The ghost escapes and goes down to the ground level outside and takes over Kevin, who is trying to show off his new bike. Erin finds the mayor at the dino as Kevin, or should I say now Rowan, drives away on the motorcycle. So, with that being said, Erin tries to evacuate the city. Everyone thinks she's, fucking bonkers, and she's literally dragged out. Rowan heads back to his machine using his newfound supernatural ability to reactivate it. The mirrors break and all the ghosts break loose. The 3 other girls suit up, and of course, gear up and head out. Erin stops a taxi and the driver looks like Ray from the first original Ghostbusters. It's kind of cool that they got a look-alike. The taxi driver drives off and Erin keeps running. The Ghostbusters stop and find a ghost who steals the car. Somehow they steal a car? I don't know. They chase after the car thief and end up fighting some ghosts. They end up being crushed by a ghost. Then they are saved by Erin, who somehow managed to get her suit and her gear. Please explain that. The army tries to stop Rowan, and he ends up making everyone dance somehow. He sends an army of ghosts to stop them. And they fight the army using their guns and their new gadgets. Honestly, this is actually one of the best scenes in the movie. Each girl gets a time to shine. All of them get to beat around a bit. Not making it so they're overpowered or anything, but they get some time to make it some fun action. And they do kick some serious ass. They finally get to the hotel, where the army is stood in mid-dance. They walk in and encounter, well, more ghosts, obviously, and Rowan. He lets go of Kevin and attacks the girls as a ghost. He takes the form of their logo, you know, the big giant thing, and knocks them out of the building. He grows and grows and grows and breaks out of the building. He chases them down the street, and Holtzman says they have to cross their lasers. It was mentioned earlier how if they did that, it'd be super powerful but deadly or something, I don't know. But it does not work, and the car turns up. They remember the machines on top of the car are like mini nukes. So they direct the car into the portal, and most of the machines charging with their lasers. It dives in and explodes, reversing the portal. Rowan manages to hold on and gets zapped in the nuts. It's kind of funny, but he also doesn't have testicles. He falls into the portal, but manages to grab Abby, and Erin grabs some wire and dives in after her. They do manage, of course, to eventually get out, pulling through the wire, and obviously escape the ghost room safely. Everything is normal, and the sky is blue, and the girls have blonde hair now, for some reason. The girls cheer, and bitch at Kevin, and the news talks about ghosts, and the mayor tries to deny it. The women celebrate, of course, and they all have a pub meal? Holtzman gives a speech. The mayor's assistant turns up and says they are funded, but instantly by the building, you know, the old firehouse. Patty's uncle turns up, and he looks like that black guy from the original Ghostbusters. Again, they're really good at getting lookalikes, and that's where the credits cut in. So, as I've mentioned, there are several returning actors from the original Ghostbusters movie. Bill Murray, who played Peter, is Martin in this movie. Of course, he gets killed. Ray is the cab driver that gets mentioned or seen near the end, and Winston is Patty's uncle right at the end of the movie. Of course, Bill Murray gets more screen time, but there are other cameos that I didn't even click on whilst watching this film, and after some research, I did actually notice a couple. The receptionist in the hotel who speaks to the Ghostbusters just before Rowan dies is Janine in the original movie. A lot of you may know her now from Young Sheldon. There is also one more, but she's not in the actual film, which is a shame. She's in a set of clips that play during the credits, and like I said, that's just like downright disrespectful, but it's the woman who plays Dana, in the original movie. She's Holtzman's mentor. So yeah, I found those out. Pretty cool. Now on to the main cast for this movie. I really like Holtzman. She's funny, she's wacky, and she's just an absolute blast. Sadly, we have no backstory for her though. Literally nothing. She's super mad, and she's a mad genius who'd run the world if she wanted to. Erin is rash and selfish mostly, only ever really thinking about her job, then proving ghosts are real to Martin. She's the whole reason why he escapes in the first place. Abby's good. She's level-headed, lacks any real story. Then there's, of course, Patty, who's just there, sadly, because the Ghostbusters have to have 4 members. Like I said earlier, she's not really mentioned till 27 minutes in. She's an okay character, nothing special. Then there's Rowan. I think he's actually a pretty good villain. I like the awkwardness of his character. He plays like the geeky kid getting bullied a lot really well, especially for the fact that his backstory mirrors Erin's and both being bullied and frowned upon. And his plan is a solid plan. Open up the ghost world, become a world-ending ghost himself. Pretty straightforward, really. I also like how it's not easily revealed straight away, like we don't know what he's up to until the kid dies. Everyone dancing may seem really stupid, but if you really look at it, it does kind of make sense. Even as a grown adult, we see people bullying him and call him weird. He resents everyone, so making them all dance, you know, is just him taking revenge, making them move like they're his puppets, making him feel like he's in charge for once. He even says he will be the bully, you know, which is evident that he pulls a chair out from Holtzman. This brings me to Kevin. Oh god, I hate Kevin. Kevin is... he's funny once, and that's it. I didn't find him funny after the first time. They played the fact that he's a dumb fuck over and over and over again, to the point it's now over the top. And it's not funny after a while. They redo the same skit over and over again. Him walking to walls, he can't answer the phone properly. It's so stupid. Like, what is Chris Hemsworth doing? Was he broke? Maybe the fact that, Thor was not seen in 2016, really, and this film came out in 2016, so maybe, Marvel wasn't paying him. Maybe it affected the bank, I don't know. The other characters are either mildly okay or not even worth mentioning. The CGI is meh most of the movie. Some of it looks really good near the end. Some of it looks really weird, though. There are some times during the third act, there are some ghosts that seem really cartoonish, but that's on purpose, and that's okay. I like that. Some of these ghosts are really odd looking, and it's really off-putting at times. The effects to their weapons are really cool, though, really clean. I love the colours, and honestly, I have no complaints when it comes to their gadgets and gizmos. Is this movie a good movie? It's okay. Is it fun? 100%. Is it a good reboot to Ghostbusters? Absolutely not. It depends on who you are, really, when you want to watch this movie. If you're going in as a pure, straight Ghostbusters fan, this movie is not for you, and you won't be there for it. But if you want something dumb, something fun to watch just to pass 2 hours, then sure, why not watch this film?
Who you gonna call? Who you gonna call?
Okay, so let's get into the ranking of this movie. As you can see here, this is the 4 categories that we're going to be ranking stuff on. Of course, there should be a description down below or in the comments about how my ranking works. So when it comes to plot, I'm going to be giving it a 3. The plot's pretty solid. You've got 2 characters who used to know each other and then band back together because, hey, the ghost could be real. Turns out that one other character, kind of recruited a third. The 4th one just kind of gets thrown in there. The reason why it loses 2 points, though, is because the other 2 last characters, they have 0 going for them. It's only Abby and Erin who actually get plot. We learn a few things about them. We learn some backstory, how they met, and all this jazz. We get nothing about the other 2. Oh, no, sorry. Holtzman has a mentor, and Patty, Uncle, drives. That is literally it. That is all we know. So, that's it. Kevin is there. He doesn't really have any backstory either, and Rowan's a good solid character. He's a good villain, hence why he gets bumped up to 3. Do I like Erin? Not really. Abby and Rowan save this film for me, truthfully. For characters, we got 2. I'm just repeating myself here, but the plot is solid. It's a solid film. And it's progressive, you learn things, they go from being nobodies to getting tech, to being Ghostbusters, they have some hurdles to jump over, Rowan's story progresses, becomes a supervillain, all that jazz, but there's not much character format here. There's not much character development. Erin is still just obnoxious, Holtzman is just as crazy, Patty's just as bland, Kevin's just as fucking dumb. There's no real character development in this movie. No character arcs, no backstories, not much going for it. And we learn a lot about Rowan through pictures that he scribbles in the book that Erin and Abby wrote, so not much going for him either. For visuals, I'm giving this movie a 3. Honestly, not a bad looking movie. Some of the CGI ghosts in the beginning look a bit higgledy-piggledy. The last fight scene actually looks really good. I love the colour of the lasers, they get the Ghostbuster look really well. Some of the ghosts do look weird and wacky and fun. That's the whole point of Ghostbusters. You can't really pin that down to, oh hey, this ghost looks bad. No, that's just Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters fight ghosts. The ghosts are meant to look weird, wacky and odd and strange and, well, ghost-like. So I can't really boil that down to being bad, if that makes sense. So it gets a 3. It's a very colourful film. Not many scenes in the dark, not many scenes that are like nighttime or anything. It's a very bright, colourful movie. All the characters do stand out. You kind of know exactly who's who and things. So yeah, other than that, it's really good, visual-wise. And then entertaining, I'm putting this down to a 2. Less Kevin being a dumbass, more Rowan, more character development, story building, maybe I would have enjoyed this film more. It gets 2 points though because of Rowan and Abby. They do really shine. I love Holtzman as a character. I want to know more about Holtzman. I want to know why she's so wackadoo and how she can come up with all these cool things. How is she a mad genius? You know, I want to know more. And that's the shame part, is the entertaining and the plot lose stuff because I want to know more about this. So overall, that means it's a 10 out of 20. Honestly, I thought it'd get less. Rewatching this film, I was not expecting to rate it midway. You know, rating it exactly dead in the middle. It was a 10 out of 20. That's actually pretty good. I'm quite shocked, honestly. 10 out of 20 isn't bad for a film that, one, is, 9 years old, but two, is deemed one of the worst reboots ever. Like I said earlier, if you want just a dumb film to watch, it's in a fun way, sure. If you're going at this as a massive Ghostbuster fan, you may not like this movie, and that's fine too.
Who you gonna call? Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters! Final thoughts, huh? Well, honestly, I don't actually know. That's the thing. Like I said, is this film fantastic? God, no. Kevin's really annoying. Some of the characters aren't fleshed out. But here's what I do take from this. This just proves a massive issue when it comes to the way fandoms take things. Because this could have been really, really good. Maybe if it got a sequel, a Ghostbusters 2 with all the girls, flesh out Patty, maybe give Holtzman some background, maybe give them a character, like a new villain who is related to Patty in some way. Maybe actually it'd be really funny if, her uncle, who's played by an original Ghostbusters actor, actually turned out to be a ghost, or like a villain or something. Holtzman's mentor maybe ends up being a ghost, or like an evil villain of some kind. There's other things you could have done to, kind of bring back the older actors as well. Kevin is godright fucking annoying, so if he did come back for the second film, it would have been nicer if he wasn't so dumb. Maybe the plot of the second film is teaching him something. I don't know. This film could have been really funny and really good and entertaining. It does have its hiccups, sure. Does it deserve all of the negativity it's gotten? Absolutely not. I do not believe that at all. Is it a good film? That's debatable. But is it a fun time and a way to blow 2 hours out of your day just chilling? Absolutely. You can get the kids involved. You can get, it's a date day. It's just a fun time. And that's the issue with fandoms these days. When something isn't the norm, it instantly gets flapped upon. It instantly gets negative, and it shouldn't be like that. I would have loved if these characters came back at some point. We do have the Ghostbusters coming back. We did have those set of films, their sequels. It'd been really cool if those characters came into it, like a cross-universal thing or something. It'd been really cool if they did something like that, just for fan service. But, of course, they're never going to do that. But honestly, I would have loved to see a second film to this universe, just to flesh out the characters. That's my biggest issue with this film, is there's not enough of the things that are there. There's not enough of the character development. There's not enough story progression. There's not enough background for these characters. We'd focus a lot on Rowan, which is pretty good, but we also focus a lot on Kevin being a dumbass, when we should be learning about who Patty is and who Holtzman is. There's 4 main characters that give us this, and okay, granted, it is kind of hard to focus on all these characters. Look at Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy focused on Peter Quill in number 2, majority of the time, with a little sprinkle of, Gamora and Nebula. The first film was mostly just introducing all the characters, so not any real character got major development, really. And then the third character was mostly about Rocket Raccoon. Drax had most of his story kind of fleshed out in the first film, and Groot doesn't even talk English, for crying out loud, but he actually had something decent in all 3 movies. So it took 3 films to get get every single member of the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of fleshed out. So this is why I'm saying give them a second film. So then maybe we can actually get these characters fleshed out and maybe people would like them. I don't know. I'm just rambling now. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in to this review. I hope you guys enjoy the movie reviews. Of course, it's the same format as my TV show reviews and video game and comic books, but don't worry, I know I haven't done any video game or comic book reviews as of recording this video, but I definitely am going to be diving into that real soon. That's my plan for 2025, is do as many reviews as I physically possibly can, and this is why I'm not limiting you or telling you guys, hey, this is how many we're doing, or this is when it's coming out, because I know it's a struggle getting these videos done. I do everything myself, the recording, the editing, putting it together, and uploading all of it by my lonesome. So this is why I'm not telling you guys, oh, this is when the next one will be out, because I don't know. But anyway, I shall see you next time. So don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. We're off passion, everybody, and I shall see you guys in the next video when we review Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Bye. Hey guys, just a quick message from me. Make sure you check out the Tiger Nexus podcast, episode 35. The link is down in the description for the Spotify version and the YouTube version. There you'll find Movie Dumpster Dive, a sub-series on the podcast where me and my co-host of the series, Ben Baker, who's a content creator on TikTok, we discuss movies, and episode 35 we discussed the Ghostbusters 2016 movie, so make sure you check it out because we discuss defending it, offending it, and Ben's a really big fan of the movie, so he comes out with some really cool facts and things like that. It's a good listen, so make sure you go check it out. Like I said, the links are down below.